Welcome back, everybody. So today I am going to prune my basil plants. They are a little neglected, so I want to go ahead and prune them and harvest the leaves. I'm going to give the leaves a really good rinse and dry them well, then pluck the leaves off the stems and prepare to make pesto. Now, I will preemptively say, when you make pesto, you want to use tender, young basil leaves. That will give you a better end result, but I'm going to use what I have today, as I always do. So once my basil leaves are ready, which I did end up using a little over 50 grams of basil leaves, it's about 3 to 4 cups, something like that. Here I have 2 cloves of garlic that I've thinly sliced. I'm also going to use coarse ground sea salt. I have a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese, and I'm also going to be using sunflower seeds in place of pine nuts. And here I have my pestle and mortar. Now, I know a lot of methods use food processors or blenders, but I'll show you why I like to do it this way. Well, for one, I like to take my time and just sit here and make pesto just like I like to knead bread without using a machine. It's just something I enjoy. So I've added my garlic with a pinch of salt, and I'm not going to crush it. What you want to do is sort of swipe it, well, press it and swipe it on the walls of the bowl that you're using, and I'm just going to grind it into a paste. And it's less crushing and pounding and more swiping and sort of rubbing it against the wall. So once it is a paste, I am now going to add some of my sunflower seeds, and I'm going to continue, again, the swiping motion. You sort of want to use the motion that you would use if you're creaming something together, because ultimately what you're doing is emulsifying the ingredients. You're not really pounding or crushing. And let me tell you why I know this. My husband lived in Italy, and his host family taught him how to make pesto. They would garden, and they taught him how to make a simple pesto. And one thing that they reiterated to him was not to crush anything, but to basically cream it and swipe it in the bowl. And this will give you a nice green, creamy emulsified paste when you make pesto. So now I'm adding my leaves, and I'm just going to add them little by little. Now, typically I would take my time and use all these ingredients to make my pesto in this tiny mortar and pestle, but if I had a larger one, it'd probably work better, but this is what I got today. So my leaves and my garlic and sunflower seeds with that pinch of salt are all creamy. So now I'm going to add a little bit of that Parmesan cheese. And again, I'm just going to, in a circular motion, cream and emulsify it together in my bowl. And I gotta tell you, one of my favorite things to do is make pesto. I don't make it often, but when I do, the smell in my kitchen, it really gets your appetite going. It smells great in here. Okay, so now that everything is paste-like, I'm going to add a tablespoon or so of olive oil. And it's probably better if you drizzle it in a thin stream and mix together, but I'm not that coordinated, so I do the best I can. But again, eventually you will end up with this creamy emulsified pesto. And it's so great on pasta, and I love to make pesto like this. I like to make al dente pasta, mix it together, and I like to serve it cold or at room temperature and finish it with lemon sometimes. But for the pesto, I do not add lemon. Well, at least this is the recipe my husband gave me, so I just sort of stick with that. But I want to show you what happens when I make it in my food processor. So I add all the ingredients in the food processor all together. I am going to actually pulse the basil, cheese, sunflower seeds, and the salt together to get it going. And now I'll add a glug of olive oil, and you want to just blend it. And it does work. It tastes great, but you'll start to notice it oxidizes. And here, the one that I made by hand has been sitting there for quite some time, and it has yet to oxidize. So you'll want to definitely use the method you find most convenient, but that's why I like to make pesto by hand. Okay, so I'm going to make some pasta, and actually I like to cook pasta maybe a minute over al dente for about 8 to 9 minutes. You probably would say it's overcooked, but that's just how my husband and kid like to eat pasta. So in a bowl, after I've drained the water, I'm going to add maybe 3 to 4 tablespoons of pesto. It really just depends on how much you like or how much pasta you're making. And I'm going to finish it off with a little more of that Parmesan cheese, cracked black pepper. And this is a 1 bowl meal, super easy. And I'm super happy that I got to use that basil in my garden. Again, if you are making pesto and you get the chance, just use the young tender leaves. Apparently that's better for pesto. So I'm going to finish it off with some of the smaller young leaves. And this is dinner for my kid. He's excited. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.